What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How y'all doing? It is 3 a.m. when we are first airing this. I'm with the homie Crypto. What's going on, my brother? How you doing?
What's going on? What's up? What's up? What's up?
We're
Martin
recording
stole
this
that from
on
me, by the
Wednesday,
way.
so I want to wish everybody. I hope that everybody had a good VD and spread it around. All the love that
Exactly.
you got today on your VD. I hope you had a good
Yes.
VD. But anyway,
VD is a
VDs
good
aside,
thing. It's a good thing. VD is a good thing.
yeah, good day. It was a good day, VD. Anyway, um, you know what they say, right? Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Three of the teams that I despise the most is the Knicks, that trash team in Coral Gables,
I don't know
and
who that is.
the Buffalo Bills. But today we are privileged to be joined by one of the best Bills content creator out there, Sean from Red, White, and Bills, and one of the best
Mm.
Bills trolls. And he's a good friend of ours, the one, the only Michael K. And yeah, man,
Yep.
we're about to embark in a journey. You know, we're gonna do this with a lot of teams. Remember, this is just Insomnia. We're about the NFL, not just about the Miami Dolphins, even though we love the Miami Dolphins, as you can see. So
Yeah.
yeah. By the way, next episode we're gonna dive into the AFL, the original teams of the AFL, the eight teams. Because if you look at it, the NFL and the AFL was kind of like the XFL and these. It started off as 8-team leagues, so we'll do a deep dive into that AFL, NFL, and then eventually, everything else in between. But we'll start with the genesis, if you will. Also, if you watch after you watch this video, leave in the comment section if you have
Uh-huh.
anything that you guys want to talk about as well. So please leave a comment after this video. So with that being said, let's get into the action.
Alrighty.
Yeah, maybe. So
Alrighty.
and
3 a.m.
and if you are obliged to do so, check out the Finn's Tailgate website.
Get ready to dive into a new world of online shopping with the Finn's Tailgate. Whether you're a die-hard sports fan or just looking for the latest fashion trends, we've got you covered. With a wide variety of products from your favorite sports teams to stylish accessories and home decor, we're your one-stop shop for all things tailgate. Our easy-to-use website and hassle-free checkout process make shopping with us a breeze. Plus, with frequent sales and discounts, you won't want to shop anywhere else. So come on in and join the party at the Finn's Tailgate, your new go-to destination for all things tailgate.
And can't forget the fine folks at W Energy Drink. If you click on the link below, you get a link. And right now it's buy one, get one 50% off sales. And you get your 10% off. I will, by the way, just so you folks know that I will be getting the fruit punch, W Energy fruit punch soon. I will be doing a unveiling and tryout of that live Saturday morning, the day of, we're going to be doing a WrestleMania preview, a W Energy WrestleMania preview. It's the off season. Why not? So, all the wrestling fans out there who want to talk wrestling, Saturday morning,
get ready.
Yeah. So, with no further ado, let's bring out the first team that we are going to be doing a off season for. Let's welcome a member of the channel and a friend of the definitely a friend of the network to everybody. My brother from another mother, Mr. Michael K. What's going on, Michael K? How you doing?
What's going on, Shane Crypto? I'm doing good.
I appreciate you, man, coming on and giving us some of your time.
Appreciate the invite,
Mafia.
Yeah. No, by the way,
no.
Man. Don't call him Bills Mafia. Don't insult the man.
No mafia. No mafia. Bills fan.
and Michael K, you can vouch for me. This guy is probably the best Bills, one of the best Bills content out there. He's up and coming. I love his content, especially his offensive line film breakdown. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Sean Red, White, and Bills. What's going on, brother?
Man, what an honor and a privilege to be on Insomnia, the first off-season installment with the teams that's not the Miami Dolphins. Me and Michael K, man, it's definitely a privilege. We're happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's start off with wide right. We've heard something Bills fans have heard a lot. And we talked privately, and we were talking about. So you were telling me, Michael K, you put the loss on Josh Allen. Tell me why.
Well, just for the fact that he didn't have to hit a home run ball there, and he could have hit Diggs underneath and wasted more time on the clock. We all know what Mahomes can do with 13 seconds. Could you imagine what he could do with a minute 47? You know, and then that's my biggest gripe is, you know, take the stuff underneath and continue the drive. It wasn't a last play of the game situation where you had to get in the end zone.
What say you, Red White? What say you, Sean?
Well, I mean, that nothing he said was incorrect. It's in that situation. That's if you're just talking about that, but not talking about the entire game. You know, it's a tough choice because who's to say that Diggs isn't going to drop that one for a 6th drop of the day, and it goes in the defender's hands for a pick 6, and then you lose anyway. Shakir was so open, and from what I gathered when I went back and watched the play a few times, Diggs wasn't even the thought in the play. So when he was coming across, Josh Allen's eyes were already in the end zone looking at Shakir. So as much as Michael K is right, and, you know, it would have been nice to keep the clock running, to get it to Diggs, get a couple yards, because we were moving the ball great that drive, you know. So, you know, I felt like, you know, let's keep this up and leave no time on the clock, score with 1 second or something. And unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. But, you know, I think going back on it, they all would have wanted that play back, you know. Josh probably would have wanted to hit Diggs or, you know, throw a little bit sooner to Shakir, because he probably could have. That was the other thing, too. He stayed in the same spot. And, you know, Dawkins only let up one pressure the entire game, and it was that one. But it wasn't even because Josh stood in the same spot the entire time. And Dawkins was, he had a good grip on Jones. He was just moving back a little bit, which happens. And Josh, again, he even admitted to it. He should have felt the pressure better because, again, you could feel it, especially if, you're the type of caliber quarterback that we think he is. And he didn't. And then he got hit, and then the ball didn't sail, far enough, and then that's how it ended. So, Michael K's not wrong on there for sure, but I wouldn't put the entire game on that play specifically.
Oh, no, Sean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't put it the entire game on that play either. It just so happened to be the biggest play of the game.
Yeah,
because it was at that moment. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Just speak on the game a little bit more, and not just about the Bills, but if you look at just Super Bowls or big playoff games in general, you got to have, people make mistakes. Quarterbacks are going to make mistakes, receivers, what have you. But when you look at the quarterback play, look at Eli Manning in that Super Bowl, the David Tyree catch. Nobody on the Buffalo Bills would do that. So it wouldn't matter how good Josh Allen did. The players got to make certain plays, like the big drop for Diggs, the 2 drops for Sherfield. Those little things right there can change the game. And I'm not saying that Josh is absolved of all blame because they're all a part of it. So Josh, McDermott, the defense, especially the defense, and key players on offense not making plays, not stepping up. But when you look at like Mahomes in the playoffs, they never make those mistakes. They always are on their P's and Q's. They're always, coached up to a T. When Manning beat Brady twice, there was always that one play that Manning was able to do that put him over the top to win. That was helping. The players also helped too. The Manningham, I think it was Manningham. He had also crazy catch too in the other Super Bowl. So it's like you got to rely on playmakers as well as your quarterback. So that first Sherfield drop, it led to a punt, and the Chiefs scored a touchdown. So in my opinion, it's like Josh gets blamed, everybody gets blamed, but where the Bills always lack is they don't have that when it matters most. The whole team isn't 100% on it. Just one little thing that goes wrong, and that's all it takes. And
yeah,
I'm not going to blame Bass. Sure, he missed the field goal. Who knows what happened? The Chiefs could have, fumbled the ball on a snap or something, and we could have got the ball back and won. But he was the last factor. The Josh missing Shakir, missing Diggs. Sherfield dropping 2 balls. The defense only having 1 stop the whole day. So, short story long. It's that's just the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah,
absolutely.
A lot of people, and what's funny is we're going through the same thing with the Miami Dolphins. Look, I think a lot of things people are trying to say, just like what Red, White, and Bills illustrated, is that Tua did a lot of good things this year, but the same thing that you illustrated about Josh Allen, key drops in certain situations. That's kind of what happened to him as well. We had key drops, key touchdowns. I'm not saying that's the reason we lost the game, but it adds up eventually.
Right.
And like you said, the quarterback gets all the blame, but he gets all the praise. And unfortunately, I will never look at it like that because every game is case by case. Everything is case by case. You just can't put everything in a vacuum and say, well, if he gets all the praise, he should get all the blame. No, that's the thing about football that differentiates from basketball is because basketball, you have 5 different players and one guy has the hot hand, you give it to the guy with the hot hand. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same with wide receivers and quarterbacks. The quarterback is off that day. It doesn't matter if the receiver is hot because he's not getting the ball, or the quarterback's hot and the receiver is off. It's not going to mean much either. You know what I'm saying? They both have to be there in sync 100%.
Absolutely.
So, and it's funny you said that, Shake, because all things considered, Shakir was the hot hand as far as receivers go. He wasn't dropping hardly anything. So that might have, and to go with what Sean said, that might have played into the whole maybe Diggs wasn't part of that play because of what Shakir had done the previous 2 or 3 games. And that's something that we'll never know because Brady's not going to say it. Allen's not going to say it. McDermott's not going to say it. So maybe Diggs wasn't in that play. In which case I think is a big problem as well, is they're taking a top 5 receiver in the league and kind of, putting their nose up to him to let Shakir, who's only his second year, essentially be the ball, and be the difference in a game.
Yeah, I noticed you guys take him out from time to time on the middle downs, like second down, or I don't know if it's just because he winded, need a breather, but I did notice that over the second half of the season, he wasn't.
Don't even get me started with that one, because I don't know if me and Sean are gonna. I don't know if me and Sean are gonna line up on that. I know if Diggs runs and he's tired, he'll take himself out. But
right, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's hard to tell.
Okay. Right.
It's hard to tell if it's him doing it or if it's coaching. But it's like people like Gabe Davis, they played 99% of the snaps when they played, and it's like, well, you like to think that your number one guy wants rest, wants to play the whole game, but sometimes you just feel like you need to take a breather, and I'm not gonna, I can't say for sure what it was, if it was a coach or him, but yeah, like Michael K said, I feel like he took himself out a couple times.
All right.
Yeah, man. But so let me ask you this.
I was curious about that.
Let me ask you this question, guys. When you guys went had that 6 game, you guys went on a nice run towards the end. But when you guys had that 6 game, 6 loss on your 6th loss, whatever, there was a lot of noise. And I know this is why Michael K hates the Bills Mafia, but there was lots of noise of putting McDermott in the hot seat. Do you think that was fair or unfair?
You want to go first, Mike, or you want me to go?
You can go, Sean.
When I look at the McDermott situation, I don't think he's a bad coach. I don't hate the guy, but when I judge him, I'm judging him off of a 7-year sample size, not this season. So, other big creators out there, they're like, what are you guys hating on McDermott for? He took a injury-ridden defense and they were balling out all year, and then they just did bad in the playoffs. What are you going to do? We were so injured. But it's not just this season that I judge him on. I judge him off of the 7 years of same mistakes that he's made since his rookie year coaching. And I don't hate the guy. I think the locker room loves him. I think obviously we all got flaws. But I think the criticism was warranted, just due to the fact, like I said, it was the same mistakes that were causing us problems in years past that were reoccurring again. But I gotta give him a lot of credit with how we rallied, and you can't really rally that a 6-game win streak off when your season's about to end if your coach isn't getting you guys ready for the game. And so I will give him credit for that. And the defense was injured, and they were playing good for the most part, except for when it mattered most. But I do think there was some validity to criticism for Sean McDermott.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Michael K. What say you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a McDermott fan, actually. You got the Leslie Frazier. And let's face it, Leslie Frazier and McDermott's defense are pretty much similar, and they're exactly alike, actually. Other than McDermott will take chances and he blitzes some more. So what happened with Frazier in the first 6 years versus what happened with McDermott this year, I have no problem with. I'm not using injuries as an excuse, but McDermott got an injury-riddled defense into the I think they finished overall top 6.
Yeah. I think they might have been 4.
Yeah, they were up there. And that was an injury-riddled defense. We didn't have Milano. We didn't have Trey White. We didn't have Epinesa for a few games. We had key players
out at the end of the season.
Yeah, but he didn't miss any time, I don't think.
Oh, okay. I thought he got hurt.
He may have missed. Taron Johnson may have missed 1 game. Oh, we didn't have Daquan Jones. Mm-hmm. And I'm not using that as an excuse, but McDermott's defense, for being as patched together as it was, showed that we have depth. But and that's the problem. I can't blame the defense in the loss either because we went toe to toe with Kansas City, and Kansas City was playing the best football of the season in the playoffs, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as McDermott goes, I have no problem with McDermott, but you get some clowns that say he should be fired because you can't do it. You can't do it, and it has nothing. You know what? By that part of the season, the coach shouldn't have to get anybody ready for a game. The players should, they're professionals. They should be getting themselves ready for a game.
Completely agree. That reminds me.
I don't know, Michael K. I think Patrick Mahomes needs to get cut and Andy Reid needs to get fired. This guy's trash.
They were talking like that earlier in the year at Kansas City.
Yeah, they need to get. You know what I'm saying? Mahomes needs to get cut. He's on the decline. Andy Reid needs to get fired. The game is passing by.
Listen, I'll do Kansas City a great favor. I will trade Tua for Patrick Mahomes and 2 first-round draft picks.
I'll do that too.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and that's the whole thing. They're professionals, and Andy Reid's a very intelligent football coach, obviously. First ballot Hall of Famer. There's none better in the league right now.
I will say though, Michael, I know you like McDermott, but if Andy Reid was fired, I'm firing McDermott immediately and calling Andy Reid. I'm calling Andy Reid before I fire McDermott.
Well, you know what? Let's hold on. We're not going to go that far yet because we don't know what Brady's going to do, or not Brady. Bobby Babbage. We don't know what he's going to do, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, I'm sure.
Yeah, we are.
Right.
But here's the thing. I saw in a stat somewhere that Josh Allen has like over 20-something touchdowns in the playoffs.
27
touchdowns in the playoffs.
He actually been pretty good in the playoffs when you think about it.
And here's the thing. Here's the other thing. Against the Kansas, the Dolphins scored 7 points against the Chiefs. The Ravens scored 10 points. Bills scored 27. So against that defense, you guys were able to put up not 27, but 24 points, I think it was.
24.
Yeah.
24 it was, yeah.
24.
Yeah, 24 points. You know what I mean? So that's quite that in itself is impressive.
Yeah.
To put up that many. And they haven't given up more than 27 total. I think Green Bay was the only team that scored the most on them all season long.
Yeah. And that goes back to what I said about it's the very little things that we have never been good at for 7 years. It's the attention to detail that one. I'm not going to play again. I'm not blaming it all on Diggs, but if Diggs makes that catch, that could have changed the entire game. If Sherfield made that first catch that ended up being a 4th down, it was a big 3rd down catch. He was wide open, both hands on it, and dropped it. If he caught that, we would have kept the drive going. The Chiefs wouldn't have got the ball. We may have scored a touchdown, and then we might not have kicked it off to them, and then they get a touchdown. Mm-hmm. So, and the reason I give the defense blame, Mike, and you're 100% right, but 2 things can be true. They were injury riddled, but the reason why I'm not giving them a pass is because they balled out the entire season with injuries. They were top 5.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the only reason why he did a great job. But when, of course, when it matters in the biggest game, they only made 1 stop. And that's, and I'm not saying you're wrong about, the defense was injured and, they did a lot of good for considering they did. It's just because they were so good. Because when it all happened, when all the injuries happened, I said, you know what? I said, don't expect shit from this defense. They'll give up 30 points a game, so we got to score 31. And that's what I said from once all the final after the Jags game when we lost Jones and Milano. I said, don't expect shit from this team anymore.
Right.
They're going to give up 30 points. And I was like, wow, you know what? They really buckled down and came to play. And then, again, I really thought that if we win out, I think we can get to the Super Bowl. I didn't say win it. I said I think we can get there. And, of course, as it turned out again, we played a really great game against the Chiefs, a play here and there that could have changed the game. And the Ravens go, shit a brick against Kansas City, which we probably would have smoked the Ravens if we played them. And here we are again.
Yeah, absolutely. But now here's the question I have, Sean. Even if the defense isn't battered like it was, do you think possibly that it could have been the same numbers? Is our depth good enough that we don't have to worry if Milano gets hurt or if Trey White goes down? Do we have enough depth to keep us afloat?
In the playoff game, it really showed, when Bernard was out. So if Bernard played with Milano out, I think it would have been a little bit different because it took them.
Oh, absolutely.
It took them 3.5 quarters to put someone else on Travis Kelce besides AJ Klein. Nothing against AJ Klein, but we all know what happened when he came off the couch the week before in a trip to the Bahamas or whatever, and then he was trying
Key West.
So I think
Key West. He was going to go to the Miami. He was going to go to. Oh wait, no, Miami didn't have a home game. Oh, never mind.
But so
Catching strays.
you know what? We had Milano and Edmonds in that.
All right,
13
that's it. He's done for the day. Nice
in that 13-second game. So to that point, it could have been the same exact score. But the other thing about the defense, they made that one stop, right? And people bring that up, like, oh, they made the stop when you could have scored a touchdown after that. But trying to play because that's what the offense had to do, is they had to play perfect because the defense was getting their ass kicked the entire game. And, knowing that you have to be perfect makes everything extremely difficult because it's impossible to be perfect. So that was what I noticed during the game. I said, you know what? This game they're getting 10 yards of play. Like, they had 10 yards of pass. That's a first down every time they throw the ball. That's ridiculous. This defense got worked. And then, we moved the ball well. We scored a good amount of points. And it just came down to big plays. People dropped. Josh missed some throws. The O-line did great. I was extremely pleased with how they played. But big players didn't step up. Diggs was 3 for 8 with like 2 or 3 drops. Kincaid was quiet for the most part. And then Shakir stepped up. But, why does this happen to us in the biggest moment? Where's Diggs? Where's the Diggs that the first 6 weeks he got 850 yards and like 8 touchdowns? Where is that in the playoffs? And, it's a whole team effort, and it's hard to get excited anymore. I'm sure, unfortunately for Mike, he saw the first wide right. He saw all the Super Bowl. I was born in 95, so I didn't see that.
I seen them all.
So, man, it's so hard to try to get excited for next year. The draft's fun. Free agency's fun. But at the end of the day, we don't have Andy Reid. We don't have Steve Spagnuolo. We don't have Pat Mahomes. So it's probably going to be the same thing. It's going to be the Chiefs in the Super Bowl and whoever in the NFC. And
he said they just rotating them in the NFC, huh?
Yeah. They're like a 5-man rotation.
See, I'm not sold on the Chiefs being a dynasty yet.
They met the definition already. It's just an ongoing dynasty, you mean?
Yeah.
You mean ongoing? Yeah, like the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you watch Mahomes, and it's weird though. You watch Mahomes, and as good as he is, it's almost like he's asleep. It's almost like he's an unsung hero because it's not like he doesn't really have them wow plays. And it's hard to explain, but I don't see him. When Allen makes a big throw or Jared Goff makes a big throw, you don't really see Mahomes doing that other than to a wide open Kelce. So how good is Mahomes going to be if you? Well, actually, how good Mahomes is.
Pass in the Super Bowl. The
What's
one
that?
he made down the field across the field on the side. The guy got lost.
Even a blind squirrel.
On the side.
You see,
even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while.
That wouldn't happen to the Bills. That's my point. Is like that. I saw that play. I said, you know what? It's like he was being controlled. Like the safety was just like, oh, I got the ball. Oh wait, I lost it in the sun or something, and then MVS catches it or some bum, and you're just like,
right,
man, like McCaffrey fumbles for the first time in 500 snaps, a 60-yard punt, pinpoint hits someone in the ankle, and the Chiefs recover it, and then they miss an extra point.
Well, the guy should have got out of the way.
Well, he didn't even see it. He was blocking.
Well, you look at it this way though: when Kelce wasn't playing his best football, Mahomes didn't look that good.
True.
They won 20.
And I think
you got to remember,
what's that?
6 passes up until almost all the way through the second quarter. He only had 6 pass attempts. That's why
right, but it was only
yelled at him.
They couldn't even get.
Well, Kelce didn't bring it on until the last 2 or 3 games of the season. when he started playing good again. Kelsey kind of had a bum years, up until that point. Then when he got hot, then all of a sudden it's like, uh-oh, here we go again with the Kansas City Chiefs.
You know what it really was, though, Michael K? They stopped activating Kadarius Toney. As soon as they stopped activating Toney, they started winning again.
They got better.
Started looking better.
It was a one key piece that
yeah.
that foiled it for him. Yeah, whenever he's not involved, they started winning.
Hey, he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion.
2-time Super Bowl. I was about to say he's got more rings than.
Right, he does.
Most people.
So all right, let's get to the all right. This is a new thing I'm doing. We have 2 awards, one for offense, two for defense, and 2 for offense. The first award is the offensive MVP and the offensive participation trophy, and the offensive, and the same thing for defense. So, Sean, who's your MVP and who is your participation trophy?
For the Bills for the regular season?
Yeah.
And by participation trophy, do you mean they sucked?
Yeah, pretty much. That's the nice way. They participated.
Well, I'm not going to say I'm not going to use Josh as the most valuable just because it's the quarterback and obviously, but I will have to say I'm going to give it to Osiris Torrance for the fact that he played every single snap from week 1 to week 19. Over 1,300 snaps this guy played as a rookie, and he didn't look like a rookie when he played. So, there's a lot where I could have went. I mean, like Spencer Brown, a guy I was really critical of, had a fantastic year. He really stepped up and was a big part of why our line was a top O line this year. But to be a rookie and to play, not get one break, not sit out one snap, that's just it's not talked about enough. So for offensive MVP, I'm going to say Osiris Torrance, and
Josh Allen will be the participation trophy.
Right, yeah.
The participation trophy on offense, I'm going to say Trent Sherfield because I knew
former Dolphin.
He had a big catch against us in that game against us.
He did. Yeah, he did. I won't give him that. But, and Michael K knows because he sees all the big wigs talking about it. They all try to sell us that guys like Deontay Hardy and Trent Sherfield were top-notch guys. And I said, listen, they're going to be the 5th and the 6th option on this team. What the fuck do you expect of these guys that they're going to do? You think we're going to draw? You think Ken Dorsey or Joe Brady's going to draw up 17 plays for the 5th and 6th option on our team? And I was just like, all right, guys, I'll give it a chance. I know it's not going to pan out how you want, but I'll give it a chance. And then everyone was like, man, they stunk. What the hell were we thinking? I tried to tell you in the preseason that these guys aren't going to come out here and put up 600 receiving yards and 5+ touchdowns. They're not bad players, but when you got Diggs, James Cook as a receiving weapon as well, hopefully you're supposed to rely on Gabe Davis. You got Khalil Shakir, you got Dalton Kincaid, that's 5 already. Dawson Knox, if you want to count him in that's 7 or 6, and then it's Hardy and Sherfield. So I'll give it. You know what? Give it to either one of them because I don't want it to seem like I'm coming at the Dolphins because it's a Dolphin show. But
no, you're good, man. Listen, gloves are off, bro. You have carte blanche to do whatever, bro.
Well,
hey, Michael K could attest to this. I got thick skin, so does Crypto, so we don't care.
I'll be honest. I thought Sherfield was going to play a bigger part than he did. But then again, you look back and you say, well, Gabe Davis can block, and he blocks just as good, if not better, than Sherfield.
Yeah.
So Davis kind of got the crummy end of the stick, I should say.
Yeah. Well, you see what the reason why people thought that about Sherfield was because even though Miami has a way better receiving core than us, he actually was a 3rd option in Miami because they don't really use the tight ends how they want. Shout out to Color because I know he wants to use tight ends more. But he was really the 3rd option there. And not because we have a better receiving core, but the way our offense is run, we use our running backs a lot. We use our tight ends a lot. So Sherfield, by default, wasn't going to be a big part of this team unless there was an injury. And then when he had a chance to step up in the playoffs, when Gabe Davis wasn't playing, He dropped two big balls, pause, and it ended up hurting us. So I don't think he's a horrible player. It's just he was just buried in the depth chart for our team. So you weren't wrong to think that he was a decent player, because in Miami, I think he had like 40 catches, 500 something yards and a couple touchdowns the year before. So that's not bad for a third or fourth option. But sixth and seventh option, you're not getting a lot of touch. So
right, and it was always nice to see that they had faith in Shakir as well.
Absolutely.
Because they didn't really use him last year. But as far as the MVP goes for me, it would be James Cook.
Love it.
Because for a second-year player, they actually put a lot on his plate, and he just gobbled it up. He enjoyed it. He did his thing, and he proved to be an asset as far as the running backs go. And I know a lot of people were disappointed when they got rid of Singletary, which I don't know why. Now I know why. Now I know why they got rid of him.
Be careful, Mike.
Well, he's playing pretty good in Houston.
Yeah, but he didn't play. And I got to blame the offensive line last year.
Yep.
On Singletary's lack of performance.
Completely agree. And
so it goes both ways. And as far as I'm not going to do a participation trophy, I'm going to do an unsung hero.
Okay.
And I'm going to give that to Spencer Brown. Because if it wasn't for Mitch Morris and Spencer Brown, I'm not thinking, well, I shouldn't say that. Osiris Torrance would have had a great year, but the fact that Brown played up to his rookie year and his potential just helped Osiris Torrance that much more.
Yeah, if Brown sucked like he did last year, it would have been hard for the rookie to come in and start and step up.
Oh, that means he's destined to fill.
Was that the guy who came from Florida? Michael K?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, he was a Gator.
Yeah.
If he came from that school, that mean his outcome in the NFL is he's heading for a disastrous train wreck.
See now, and I got to bring up this clown, and I hate to ruin your show, but I got to bring up that clown Dan Mitchell, because he was certain that Spencer Brown was getting cut. Now, I didn't know this. I don't know if Sean knew this. I didn't know that Spencer Brown was still having effects of a back surgery that he had in the offseason.
Yeah, I knew.
I knew he had surgery in the offseason, but I didn't know that, between his rookie year and his second year, I didn't know that it affected him as much as it did. And give the Bills credit, they played him regardless. They played him regardless, and it showed when he's healthy, the guy's unstoppable. He got beat a couple times, but everybody does. But from year one to year two, there was a drastic decrease in his play. And then from year 2 to 3, it made his rookie year look like, he had his second year.
Yeah.
And that was the big difference. I'm a huge Spencer Brown fan. Huge.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people, they gave me flack because I was critical of him. But when you look at what he did before this year, everyone had every right to be critical of this kid. No, not to say that he was never going to be good. I just said, I judge you off of what you are now. And I did know about the back. And what I said was, if he played knowing that he's hurt, he bears all responsibility of the outcome. That's with any player. So if Josh Allen plays with his hurt shoulder and he throws 5 picks, he chose to play, I got to criticize him for throwing 5 picks. I don't care if he's hurt. So when Spencer Brown played like absolute dog shit last year, was one of the worst tackles in the league, a lot of people said, he's injured, man. Give him a full offseason. Let him recoup. He shouldn't have been playing then if he was going to affect the team this much. If he was a 75th out of 77 tackle, and according to PFF, I could have played that and been the 76th best tackle. So why don't you let him rest a little bit longer, put him on IR for the first 4 weeks, let him see how he does. But again, that's just how I operate with every player on any team. If you're injured and you play, like Greg Rousseau, people always say, he was injured, man. His foot was bad. He didn't really perform this year. Then why was he playing? I don't want someone that's going to be a detriment to my team because of injury, not putting forth 100% effort, hurting our team. But
what they said is, they said Rousseau's foot, he had a bad foot this year?
Yeah, they were saying it all season. They're like, yeah, man, his foot. I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like,
yeah, you having an injury bug problem?
Yeah,
I didn't hear about it.
I like Rousseau a lot, but we'll talk about it later. But I did want to mention,
I
I
hardly
love
ever
that.
see him
I
out
love
there.
that pick, Michael K. with Spencer Brown, and then I did want to mention Connor McGovern real quick because he gave up the least amount of pressures on the team this year, and if I can find the paper that I wrote it on, he I don't know if I'm going to find it. I'm going to try to remember. He only gave up a pressure every basically 3.1 or 2% of the snaps. So 3 out of 100 snaps will give up a pressure. So he was a huge offseason move. We signed him for 3 years. And although I had Torrance as my MVP for offense, without guys like Torrance and McGovern and Brown stepping up, then Dawkins wouldn't have had the year he did because Dawkins had a horrible year last year with our shitty left guard that we had. And now he was able to play his game and not worry about who's next to him because he knew Connor McGovern had his own shit. So, Michael K agrees with me on this that, this O-line didn't get nearly enough credit from our community that they should have gotten. That's why I was doing it every week. I was doing videos trying to let people listen. Like, hey, man, you guys just listen to these big, social media people that say they're bad. Fucking watch. You know what I mean? And, that was what I was most happy about this year was the O-line play.
Oh,
That's what's up.
absolutely.
So, all right, defensive award and the participation
We'll do that.
trophy for defense.
We'll make sure we give Dan Mitchell a shout out from Michael K, his favorite content creator.
He came in
Oh,
at one time
he's a
too.
clown.
Michael K was in there.
What's that? What was I in?
Well, we're going to talk about the coaching, later today. But that's when we were talking about coaching on Dan Mitchell's channel, and I said something, and he was coming at me, and I was like, "Wow, this is crazy." Like, we'll get into it later because there's a big story.
Okay, all right. So my most valuable player on defense, and I'm gonna let Sean because I think I know who Sean's gonna say, so I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm gonna say Ed Oliver. And the participation trophy, I would probably give it to Kyer Elam.
Ooh, nice.
Mm.
Well,
right.
Michael K,
Okay.
you chose the guy I didn't want to pick, so.
You wanted to pick him?
I would have. Yeah, I probably would have picked. Oh, I was between Ed Oliver and Bernard. So,
I thought you were going to go with Bernard. That's why I went with Oliver.
No, they're both. I mean, they're both absolutely huge pieces of this defense, and Oliver especially. To your point, a lot of people were dogging on him because he was a 9th overall pick and he didn't get 15 sacks a season. And I was saying for years, even before YouTube, it's not just about the number of sacks; it's about how he handles double teams. Because a lot of defensive tackle work is eyes in the backfield, control the line of scrimmage, and shake off the block and make a tackle, or enforce so the linebackers can clean up the tackles and make plays behind you. And everyone was overlooking that. Like, oh, I mean, he only got 5 sacks. He only got 6 sacks. It's really more than that. And this year he had the 9.5 sacks. He had a shit ton of tackles. He had more tackles for loss than Quentin Williams. He had more tackles than Quentin Williams. He was more than deserving of an All-Pro. But the reason he wasn't an All-Pro is because he was a Buffalo Bill. And It really sucks for that Oliver because nobody was better at D-tackle than him this year. And then for Bernard, my pick, I mean, this guy, another guy that you really could have strongly considered to be an All-Pro, but nobody knew besides Buffalo fans and maybe Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots fans because he played him twice. He had over 150 tackles. He had over 3 interceptions. I think he had 4 interceptions, 4 fumble recoveries. Just all over the place. And a lot of us didn't know what to expect from him. He didn't play at all. He played 1 game, I think, his rookie year. Didn't do that great. And then his first game against the Jets, I thought he did good. A lot of people said he was bad, but I thought he was pretty good considering. And then after that game, man, he just definitely another All-Pro type season for him, along with Ed Oliver. So definitely I'll pick Bernard. And then for participation trophy, I'm going to say I hate to say it because I love him, but Jordan Phillips this year, man. He just kept getting injured and not doing much. And
that's a good one.
It's a shame just because he had that 1 year before he went to Arizona. He had 10 sacks. He was just a force all over the place. And he was a little bit, for us this year, but when it came down to it, he looked good, then he get injured, then he looked bad, then he looked good, get injured, look bad, and So unfortunately, I had to give him the participation trophy, but I still love him.
Hey, 2 former Dolphins you gave the participation trophy to.
Right, exactly.
Coincidence.
So
yeah, but didn't the Bills draft Jordan Phillips?
no, the Dolphins did.
No, Dolphins did.
Oh, okay. Because I know he left and came back. So did Shaq Lawson.
Yeah, so Phillips was at the Dolphins, and he didn't really have a good start to his career. And then we took him, and then Leslie Frazier basically said, if you stop clowning around and you work your ass off, you're gonna be a good football player, and we'll keep you around. If not, see you later. And then he did good. And then he was a free agent. So we said, hey, we can offer you this much money, or you can go to free agency and test the market. He said, I'm testing the market. He got offered 3 years, $30 million in 2020. He took it, got injured, didn't do much. Free agent again. They got rid of him, and then we took him back. And same thing with Shaq. He went to I think Shaq went to the Dolphins too.
Yeah, he went to the Dolphins. Then we traded him to the Jets, I believe.
Yep. And then he didn't do good there either. And then, I like those two though. They're just like
He went into a black hole of linemen.
They remind me of that core of when we started to be a good football team, and they were pretty big pieces of it. And it was nice to have him back, but unfortunately Phillips didn't really produce like he did back then.
All right. Now let's get to the coaching aspect. Now, before we get into the coaching hires, halfway through the season, you guys fired one of the worst QBs in college history. He played for that University of Coral Gables, which
the greatest university.
Yeah, he played
under the sun.
He played for that trash team, University of Coral Gables, and he became your OC, and he got fired halfway through the season. Ask both of you guys, starting with Sean, why do you think Ken Dorsey lost 3 games? He did really well prior to this year, and he got fired halfway through. Why do you think that was?
Well, it's the unpopular opinion, but the reason why he got let go was because, not to any fault of his own, but the team itself was in a funk. Josh Allen was, struggling a little bit, turning the ball over. We were dropping balls. We were, deep. Anything that could happen bad happened. For example, that Broncos game after he got fired, we didn't have a great game, but we ended up taking the lead with less than 2 minutes left, right? And then the defense went on the field. They let them march down the field. Then they had 12 men on the field. They missed a field goal. They re-kicked it, made a field goal, and we lost. And then Ken Dorsey got fired. Of course,
and that field goal happened
the Bronco game
on the field. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. So as bad as that game seemed offensively, we still offensively were put in a position to win the football game, and the defense failed when it mattered most. And just like the Patriots game that we lost.
Teams.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing. Smiley should have been fired, not Dorsey.
Oh yeah, he should have been. He's back.
That's your special teams coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even like that Patriots game that we lost, the first play of the game, Josh Allen threw a pick. So it starts you off bad, then all of a sudden you're down 10-0. It's not Dorsey's fault, but then because we were playing bad, the morale goes down. Everybody starts, getting frustrated. Then everybody's pointing at the play calling. But at the end of the day, it's all about what you do on the field. Yep. So, and I get what people say, like, oh no, Brady's bringing a new life and he's energetic and young, but they average the same amount of points per game. I think Brady's was 27.8, and then Dorsey was 27.4. Like something so minute that it didn't really matter. So it wasn't like we were any scoring more. It's just we stopped making mistakes. And I said that as soon as he got fired. I said, watch, once we stop making mistakes, everybody's going to say, oh, Joe Brady, Dorsey was the problem the whole time. As soon as Joe Brady took over, all the plays are great and everything's good. But the real difference was we stopped turning the football over. And at a high rate anyway, because we were turning the ball over three to four times a game when we were during that stretch. And then once you start turning the ball over less, it doesn't matter what you're doing. We won a football game where Josh only threw 14 passes, and we won by like 50. So it's like against Dallas.
Right.
So it's not that we were playing any better. It's just we didn't turn the football over, and then we were able to run the ball a little bit better because people were trying to stop the pass. And then, I'm not saying Brady's a bad coach. It's just the way people reacted to Dorsey, just basically forgetting all the good he did just because we were struggling. And I know Michael K agrees with this part. Nobody, I forgot who said it, but the Josh Allen Bone Stroker Club.
That's me.
That's you. Yeah. So
yeah, that's me.
As much as I love him and I think he's a top 3 quarterback.
By the way, he's the president of that club.
Oh no.
But people can't stand to give any sort of criticism to him, and I understand why. He's a great guy. Like, he doesn't do anything wrong to people, and he came out of college as a nobody. Like, he had a no-star recruit. Nobody wanted him. He was looked at as a piece of crap. He looked like everyone said he sucked, and then now he's great. So I don't understand. Besides like rivalry hate, I don't get why the NFL world doesn't like Josh Allen, but. As a fan base, I get why it's hard to criticize, but I even had to grow out of that. In like 2019, I couldn't let anyone say nothing bad about him. But then I learned, and I was like, you know what? He's not any different than any other player. They all put their underwear on the same way every day, and he makes mistakes too. And when he's watching film, he's not saying that, oh, I'm perfect. He's sitting there saying, man, I fucked up. So then I changed that mindset, and then it seems like a lot of the community is still stuck in that I can't criticize Josh Allen. But
you're right. But John, you get a lot of people, especially if I go to the bar after work one day or something, they're talking about MVP, whatever. Everybody's all butthurt because Josh Allen didn't win MVP, and I'm just like, why should he? He lost 4 games single-handedly. That the team played well enough to win the game, but it was his bonehead mistakes that lost the game. Whether it be the Jets game. Very first game of the season where he throws 3 picks to some unknown dude. So yeah, you know what I mean? And it's just like Lamar Jackson didn't lose the 3 games that they lost. He didn't lose single-handedly. So I was not disappointed when Lamar Jackson won his second MVP. And that's the problem that I do have with Josh Allen is that even he doesn't hear the criticism because there is none to hear because people are so wrapped up in the Josh Allen persona that they're afraid to talk bad, or not even talk bad, but to give valid criticism to the quarterback that's supposed to bring a Super Bowl to Buffalo.
Yeah, to the fan base, I agree. But as far as the media goes, and on the outside, he gets a ton of hate, and I don't understand why. But to your point, yeah, the fan base, it's just all rainbows and butterflies. So I agree with that point. But
oh yeah, like that
rainbows and butterflies,
like that. The interception he threw, the interception he threw against New England, first play of the game. People were blaming Davis for
the second game against New England.
First game, because we won the second game. The one we lost. People were blaming Diggs not Diggs. They were blaming Davis for running the wrong route.
Well, Davis fumbled that game too.
Okay, well, and he's entitled to a fumble. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have fumbled or he should have. What I'm saying is, even though it was like what game was it that we lost in overtime when Davis ran? He ran the Jets. That was the Jets game.
Yeah.
Well,
no.
We lost.
Eagles. It was the Eagles. Yes, it was the Eagles game. And if you watched it,
with them, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. In the Eagles game, the dude had inside leverage, so Davis did exactly what he was supposed to do and turn it into a corner route. And Allen threw the ball exactly where he shouldn't have thrown it. Missed him by 15 yards. And everybody's blaming Davis for running the wrong route. Well, it was an option route. Well, you're right. It's the receiver's option on which way to go. It's the quarterback to read that and throw it in the right place.
Yeah.
And it's mistakes like that I have an issue with when people will not will not call Allen out for just, having a complete meltdown and not reading the play and getting a little bit too, what's the word I'm looking? He gets a little too anxious, just like I think he did with the Shakir pass in the Kansas City game.
Well, to your point though, Mike. Okay, that game against the Eagles, he didn't have any turnovers. He had 4 touchdowns and like 450 total yards. So that one miss that was, I blame both of them, but that one miss he didn't single-handedly lose that game. And you could, I get your point to that. I'm on the other end of the spectrum because my thing is they were receiver and quarterback combo for 4 years, and every single option route they're never on the same page. So I don't blame just Josh on that because I seen the clips and I seen other creators talk about it. I disagree that Davis couldn't go inside. I thought that when the safety crashed down and it was one-on-one and Davis had the man beat, even though he had inside leverage, Davis still had a step on him. And if he cut inside to the post, the middle was wide open. That would have been a touchdown. So either way, they both screwed up because either way it could have been a touchdown. So it was their both.
Wasn't that the same play on us where he mistimed the guy and we ended up getting an interception in the end zone on that play? It seemed like almost the same kind of play.
It was actually the same play. It was the same play too. But this time, Josh went.
Was that Davis? That wasn't Davis though.
That was I think that was either
Diggs?
Shakir or Sheffield. Yeah. One of them,
It might have been one of those guys.
Run, and then our guy came up in that empty spot that he threw to.
Yeah. So I do get it.
Yeah.
I think that Jets game was 100% his fault. And I think a couple of the losses, obviously he had a hand in it, but I don't think besides that Jets game, I don't think him alone single-handedly lost any other of the games because out of the 6 losses, 4 of them, we went off the field on offense with a lead or tied, and then the defense lost the game. So he didn't play great in those losses. He did make some mistakes, so he doesn't get, a free pass from me. But I don't solely blame him because it was just, even though he made mistakes and, threw picks and fumbled, he still put us in the lead to end with less than 2 minutes left and we lost. So, but he does deserve criticism. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying I'm with you, but then I see it both ways, I guess.
Right. Well, you're a better man than I am.
So did you agree with the reason why Ken Dorsey got fired?
Did I agree with that?
No.
Pretty much. I mean, I agree.
So
it's easier.
It's a scapegoat.
Yeah, it's easier to fire a coach than it is 11 guys on offense.
Yeah,
he was a scapegoat. They just wanted somebody to say, hold somebody responsible for having 6 losses already halfway through the season.
But I'm gonna go one step further and say there's a good chance that Cleveland's going to be a tough team to beat next year.
I agree.
They got Dorsey, and I'm not sold on Deshaun Watson, and who knows if he'll stay healthy enough. But if they have a competent quarterback with that defense, I was a fan of Dorsey.
He did with his MVP like season in Houston, his last season before the whole thing went out of control. Yeah, if he returns to anyone like that with that coordinator, then they will be tough. Be a tough out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100% on that one.
I hope the Browns are the #1 offense next year because I'm gonna have a good time.
Who's the offensive coordinator?
No, for
Ken Dorsey.
Dorsey's the Browns.
Dorsey's their guy. They're gonna be throwing. They're gonna be really going down the field a lot with him.
That's crazy.
See, well, you knew he was getting a job.
100%.
What do you guys think of Joe Brady though? Did you want somebody else, or did you like the hire that they stuck with him?
Don't know yet. Don't know, and I can't. You know what? I won't give you an answer until week 17 next year.
All right, we'll revisit this.
Because we don't know. He used Ken Dorsey's playbook. I was never a fan of Brian Dable. And
he's my least favorite.
Oh my God! But people are so.
You don't think he's responsible for Josh Allen's growth?
No.
Think it was Ken Dorsey?
No, I think it was Jordan Palmer. And I think that when Josh Allen had his 2020 season where he should have won the MVP. Actually, or was it 2019 that he got beat by Lamar that he shouldn't have?
Well, 2019 Lamar won, but Josh didn't have a bad year. He had 29 touchdowns, 9 picks. But you're thinking of the year after that when Rodgers won.
Good, yeah.
When Rodgers won, when Allen had 45 touchdowns and like 12 picks and 45.
Well, that was the year he spent 2 or 3 weeks with Jordan Palmer, came out and just lit it up. And then after that, he decided that golf was more important than being a full-time football player.
He just took it off, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, and he actually, and he actually came out on, I think it was not Bussin' with the Boys, it was the other one.
No, it was.
Was it Bussin' with the Boys where he says he doesn't do nothing in the off season?
Yeah, he said he didn't do nothing. He's like, the coaches get mad at me because I just go back to the weight room the first day of practice and I beat all my lifts from last year and they don't know how I do it. I'm just like, I hope you're joking because we pay you a lot of fucking money, man.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely. You know what? You're absolutely right. And people are, and here it is with the Bone Stroker Club again. Well, he needs time off. He needs time to decompress. Bullshit. You're making $258 million in 6 years. Yeah. That contract goes from this year it goes from March 13th until we'll say March 12th of next year. It goes for the league year. You're not under contract only when the football season's in.
Right.
That's where I have a problem with it.
Here's the other thing too. Sure, he deserves time off. The football off season is 7 motherfucking months. You don't need 7 months off. Like take a week off, train for 3 weeks. Take a week off, train for 3 weeks. Take 2 weeks off, train for 2 weeks. Just do fucking something. You can have all the time off in the world. I mean, like teachers, they get the summer off. That's a good amount of break for the teachers. The 2 or 3 months, and they get back to work, and they work, and they work. Right. So if you're a football player and you make $bajillion to play a game, and you think you need 7 months off before you start working again, that's ridiculous. You should be obviously not working as much as you did during the season, but rest up for a week, like I said, or 3 days on, 2 days off, or 2 days on, 3 days off. Just always do something, whether it's throwing or weight training or cardio or just throwing to your team, like calling your dudes up and be like, hey guys, next month we're gonna meet in Florida. We're gonna get the receivers and running backs with me. I'm gonna go throw you guys routes all day. We're gonna do this. We're gonna work with Brady and do that. Like that's
what Tom Brady did with his receivers.
Yeah, what all of them do. What all of them do with their receivers. But it was funny because last year, Shake, I was scrolling through X or through Instagram or wherever I was scrolling through, and you see.
Don't look up Drake if you're on Twitter.
What's that?
I said, don't be looking up Drake if you're on X.
Why? What's that all about? I don't know that. You'll have to tell me. You'll have to tell me that one later. But you see, 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, with the exception of Justin Herbert, because he had surgery, you've seen all the big names. You've seen Burrow, Hurts, Sunshine. What the hell is it? Trevor Lawrence. All these guys are already back working out in the weight room, throwing balls, doing whatever. They were still enjoying themselves. They were still golfing and doing what they do. But 2 weeks after the Super Bowl was over, they're already getting ready for the next season. Then you get Allen with the clowns from it wasn't Bussin' with the Boys, it's the other Barstool one.
Yeah.
Where he's bragging that he golfed 26 different golf courses in the off season.
Damn.
And he's bragging about it, and I'm sitting there going, you got to be kidding me.
I haven't even golfed
26
places in my life.
Yeah. I mean, you get paid $250
I didn't even know there were many golf courses on the planet.
Yeah.
Well, he just bought an $8 million house. He just bought an $8 million house in Southern California on a golf course.
Yeah. And his house in Buffalo has a golf course, a par 3 golf course too. Well, 3 holes or 2 holes or whatever it was.
Well, no, it's one hole with 3 different tee locations.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I drove by that when I was in Buffalo. I was like, wow, this is his house. That's crazy.
Yeah. But and that's what I'm saying, and I think that's why I don't have a problem criticizing him. Not saying that if he did take the time to go and work with Jordan Palmer, if Jordan Palmer invites you, you go. And all the big names did it. C.J. Stroud did it. Look what kind of year he had. Because Jordan Palmer, unless you're a high school kid, if you're college or going into the pros, if you're invited, you have something. Because he won't take anybody. And no offense, he didn't invite Tua.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he didn't invite Tua. He didn't invite Tua. No.
Oh man.
No, but Herbert did. Mahomes worked with them. I don't know if Jalen Hurts did or not. I know Lawrence did.
Oh, yeah. Sunshine got an invite.
Oh yeah.
Probably already practicing.
What about?
He's at Disney World right now. He's at Disney World.
Oh, Burrow didn't get no invite.
No, Burrow's worked with Jordan Palmer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
he did.
And I don't know if Hurts
out west.
No, yeah, he's out. He's in She's in Southern California.
Oh, okay.
And it's what the hell is it called? The QB. I want to say QB Summit, but I don't think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is a QB Summit.
And
what's the tight end? What's the tight end one called? That's a tight end.
Tight end University.
Yeah, I think it is a QB Summit. But Palmer will go around, and there's some high school kids. I want to say that Manning's kid, Arch Manning, I think he went between high school and college, but his family can afford it because Jordan Palmer doesn't do this shit for free.
Yeah.
But I know that he went up to Wyoming. Yeah, he went up to Wyoming, I think, between Allen's junior and senior year and invited him. I think Allen went then, and then he went before the combine, 19, and then again 20. And that's it. 20 is when they worked on his mechanics. When they hooked him up to all them machines and put all the sensors on him and changed his mechanics.
That was his first really elite season, too, 2020 and then 21, 22, and 23. So
yeah, but he slacked off, though. Then he slacked off. I don't think his footwork's as good as it used to be, and I'm not going to use age as an excuse.
So he decided to skip the Trent Dilfer School of Learning. Went to the
yeah, exactly.
Not
okay, all right. So you guys have a linebackers coach that you guys promoted, which is McDaniel's twin brother right here.
Kind of looks like Tua, also.
So what do you?
He actually,
looks like a Hollywood star.
No, you know who he looks like with the glasses
like Baker
on?
Mayfield.
Who's that?
Who's the dude that got ran over by his own snowplow?
It looks like Baker Mayfield.
He looks like the dude that got ran over by his own snowplow last winter.
Jeez,
almost died.
How does that even happen?
I don't know about that guy.
You know what I'm talking about? I know what you're talking about. I forgot who it was.
I can't remember the guy's name.
Ran over by his own snowplow.
Yeah, he had a Super Bowl commercial.
Backwards.
Yeah, it started rolling or something. He went out to clear a clog or something, and it ran him over. He almost died.
Oh man!
I want to say he was played James Bond.
Jeremy Renner.
Yes. Yeah, it looks just like him with glasses on. Take the glasses off, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jeremy.
But right now, for me, I like the hire. I like the promotion, I should say, because he's done nothing but incredible things with every position that he's coached. Granted, with the defensive backs and stuff, he already did have Hyde and Poyer back there. But then he get to the linebackers, and look what he did with Bernard.
So he is the DC now.
He's the DC, but it still hasn't been said if he's going to call plays or not.
Yeah.
Oh, McDermott might still call the play.
If McDermott calls the plays, I'm 100% on board.
Yeah,
because
it works for you guys when he does it. It's been working.
Oh, and that's the whole thing. And I think Sean is in agreement with me on this one. I think we spoke about it a little bit.
Yeah, the way I am with both of them, I kind of with you. It's like cool, good for them. They got some good background, but my tangent. So going back to the Dan Mitchell thing, when I was in that chat, I was mentioning how it was like a week after we lost, right? Michael K was like not. It was still fresh after we lost.
Yeah, it was fresh.
Yeah. So Dan and everybody in the comments was talking like we're Super Bowl bound. Like it didn't matter. We didn't just fucking lose. And that all of a sudden Bobby Babich is this Lord and Savior. And 99% of the world, the Bills Mafia, including myself, didn't know who Bobby Babich was up until this year when he took over for a practice when McDermott had to leave for an emergency. I didn't know who the fuck this guy was. And,
Did he give y'all rah-rah speeches?
Yep. So, and again, I love his energy. I love every position he's coached, they've done well. But to me, what it was, 4 other teams wanted this guy. So we signed him so no one else got him. That's why I think we got him. And the other thing is, too, that I mentioned in Dan Mitchell's chat was the Buffalo Bills are dangling this fucking brand new toy, shiny toy in front of you guys to distract you from all the BS that we've been going through year after year after year after year. And now you bit into it and got pulled back in. You bit the lure, and now you're getting ran up onto the boat and you're about to be put on some ice because now all of a sudden we don't care that we just lost to the Chiefs again for the 3rd time in the playoffs. We're all happy because now we got Bobby Babich and Joe Brady, and they're young, and they're going to bring new life into this team, and we're going to bring new weapons in and their own guys, and they're going to make their own playbooks, and all of a sudden we're going to be this team that's unstoppable. And then Dan told me, dude, why are you so negative? Like, go out and get some air. Go work out or something.
Yeah.
I said, you know what, motherfucker? Listen, I run a goddamn business. I said, you're on your motherfucking ass making videos all day. You're telling me to get outside? And I'm nothing against being on making videos or sitting on your ass all day. But I have a cleaning business where I'm always moving around. I'm always doing this. I work out 5 times a week. And you're telling me to get off my ass and go outside? First of all, I don't live in Florida like you do, Dan. I live in upstate New York where it's nice 3 months out of the year. So I'll be damned if I'm going outside. So, but thank you, though. And then he's like, he's like, oh, well, I appreciate that. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I'm like,
no, you're not.
Don't try to be cool now, dude. You try to call me out. You try to tell me I'm just a loser that doesn't do nothing. So,
well, he won't fight, and we won't make this about Dan Mitchell. But he won't have an intelligent debate with somebody that actually knows what they're talking about.
Yeah,
he'll block you. He'll block you and mute you, or he'll try to belittle you without you being able to rebut.
Say it ain't so, Michael K.
Yeah,
it's so crypto.
Yeah, what's funny is I'm listening to you guys talk, and crypto, correct me if I'm wrong. Everything you guys are going through, we're freaking going through.
Yeah, it's pretty similar.
Well, yeah, it's similar but different.
Pretty much.
It's similar but different. You have different situations that you guys are going through versus us.
No, but what I mean is,
as far as the atmosphere.
What I'm talking about is the situations. They're always trying to hype up everything. Like it's like, okay, we're in salary cap hell, and we got new offensive coordinators, and this time this is going to be different from last year. You'd be like, how the hell does that happen? Make it make sense for me, please.
Right.
Well, here's the problem. See, our situation's a little better because we don't, other than Epinesa, Gabe Davis, and I believe Taylor Rapp, we really don't have any big names that we got to sign. Even though that we're over the cap, we got a lot of depth players. But a lot of these players will play for $1 million a year.
Yeah, we got 10 draft picks too, so that helps.
Right, but even if only 3 of them hit, that's still better than having 6 and having 2 hit.
You're probably not going to draft all 10. You might draft 7 and deal.
Right. No, I'm just saying, as far as if we had, you guys have 25 free agents. So say we had a bunch. Luckily, we have 10 draft picks. So if we needed to fill up those spots with draft picks, we had 10. But you're right, Crypto. I guarantee you, we're going to trade up a couple times and probably.
Right now, I see Micah Hyde, Poona Ford.
Poona Ford's gone. Poona Ford's gone.
We got quite a bit too.
Gabe Davis and Shaq. Gabe Davis and the other wide Trent Sherford. Well, you don't care about him, so yeah.
What about Hamilton? Is he under contract still? Is he going to play the full season?
Oh,
Yeah,
Hamlin.
those are the only ones I see that's
Yeah.
of note. And of course, if and Kyle Allen is your other free agent, which
he'll be gone too.
Yeah, they might sign him for the league minimum.
Maybe.
Who? Hamilton?
Kyle Allen.
Oh, Allen. Okay.
Yeah, Hamlin, I think he's got 1 year left, but it's more of like people are bringing up cutting him to save like $1 million, but it's like, what the hell's $1 million going to do in the grand scheme of things? You know what I mean? Like, we still need another safety.
Sign a long snapper.
Yeah, well, we got our long snap. We got the good Ferguson.
Yeah, we got Reed, right?
Yeah,
We got the Hall of Fame Ferguson.
Yeah, yeah. No, there was a good X thing where Reed was making fun of Blake because he got one extra check this year.
Yep. But yeah, going back to the coaches, like kind of like Michael K said, we'll see where we're at in week 17 next year. But all I was saying was we have no reason to think as Bills fans at this point in time that this is going to be make anything different. And I did want to say something from what Michael K said earlier about Dorsey's playbook. I might be in a minority here, but I think it's a Josh Allen playbook, not a coordinator playbook. And what I mean by that is when Brian Daboll was a coordinator, they tailored the playbook to Josh Allen's strength and what he likes to do. And then when Brady came, or when Dorsey came, everybody was saying, creator-wise, this is a very similar play. He just took Brian Daboll's playbook. He didn't take Brian Daboll's playbook. He took the playbook that worked for Josh Allen. So everybody, including me and Michael K, we're hoping that we see a different playbook. But I'm really almost willing to bet that majority of what we do next year is going to be exactly what we did with Brian Daboll and with Ken Dorsey. So that's just my take on the playbook thing.
Well, at least with Dorsey, Daboll he'd run the ball twice and then throw a long ball.
Yeah, he'd run it at least every time and then throw it deep.
Yeah, at least Dorsey kind of got not saying Allen didn't throw deep, not saying he can't throw deep, but he limited the throws. He didn't throw a 60-yard bomb 4 times a game.
Right, it's not needed. And
right, Dorsey simplified it to the 20, 25-yard where he could throw it on a rope. And that's where that is. But as far as if Brady changes anything, and hopefully it is catered to Allen and maybe see something different, but I don't necessarily, like you said, I don't necessarily know if we're gonna.
Yeah, so it's tough. And then just going back real quick, I don't want it to seem like I was calling out any other creator or anything. I just was saying the story of what happened with Dan. I don't want no beef. I don't want none of that. So if people go back and say, "Oh, they're talking shit about you," I was.
I don't care. I don't care.
I was, but I'm little old me. What does Big Dan have to worry about little old me for?
We'll make sure y'all have a beer summit.
Yeah, that was like, oh my God.
We'll make sure y'all have a beer summit.
That's it. But I will touch on one thing. Let me touch on one thing before we go further.
All right, Crypto wants to say that. Listen, when you and Dan Mitchell have a beer, the first Bud Light is on him. Between you,
right?
Yeah, I ain't drinking a Bud Light.
Miller Genuine Draft. You can't go wrong.
What I do think may hurt is losing Eric Washington as a defensive line coach. Because I don't know who they got. I didn't keep up on it and who they filled that position with yet. But that's going to hurt a lot.
Sorry, I had to get my charger.
Oh, yeah. So he didn't hear what I was saying. What do you think about losing Eric Washington?
You said the D-line coach. I think his
Eric Washington.
Yeah, he's on the Bears now. That'll be interesting to see because a lot of people, from what I've been hearing through the grapevine, they're not really concerned about it. And there has been a lot of development for players. And there has been, things that didn't really look that great. Near the end of the year, we didn't pressure Mahomes again. But during the whole year, we were top sack team. We got a ton of pressure. At Oliver, developed quite nicely. AJ Epinesa as well. So there was a lot of good things. So, but a lot of people are high hopes on this. I don't remember his first name, but his last name is West. I don't know much about him. So to your point, Michael K., I don't know what to expect again from this guy, but it'll be interesting. One thing I don't like, and I mentioned it last year, for a team that's in a Super Bowl window, people can laugh if they want, but in a Super Bowl window, we were losing coaches last year. We lost a wide receiver coach who took the same position somewhere else. Leslie Frazier, resigned, and he's in Seattle now, so good luck to him. But it's coaching changes. It stinks sometimes because you get used to how someone acts and teaches and calls plays, and then you got to redo it all over again and the next year. And then when you look at teams like the Chiefs, they still got Spagnuolo. They still got Andy Reid calling plays. So it doesn't matter if it's Bieniemy or Matt Nagy because Andy Reid is a genius in the system. So
Right.
when you have those key guys always there, it's nice. But then when you're always changing, develop, your position coaches are always changing. So now your players might not get developed as much, and they might not be the best coach or teacher. Then you're always changing. It's tough. So I'm not a big let's get 5 new coaches a year type guy, but that's where we're at this year.
The problem is when you have a successful season or for successful for the most part season, that's the part of the game is you lose those guys. But going on your Frazier thing, that kind of solidifies the fact that he walked away and waited for his contract to expire because he had to before he got, everybody's saying Frazier got fired. I don't think he did.
No, yeah, he even said, I forgot what podcast it was, but he mentioned how it was mainly just how rough that season was, like the DeMar situation and, the people dying in the snowstorms and things like that. He said emotionally it took a lot out of him. So it wasn't, people made it seem like he got fired for the 13 seconds. We all know it was McDermott's fault, but he just stepped away, and I don't blame him because I'm sure that was hell to deal with. And, he stepped away, and now he's got another opportunity. So
I'm just glad he didn't. I'm glad he didn't go to Miami.
Yeah. I want to bring this up real quick. Speaking of DeMar Hamlin, because I've seen it, especially in the Bengals game and in the Miami game. After that DeMar Hamlin game, I noticed that the defense was never the same. They never kind of bounced back. They played well, but it wasn't the same team prior to that incident happening. Do you think that could have played a big part in the decline after that game? The defense.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I really do as well because obviously it turned out for the better, but if you remember, it took a few days. It took it took weeks. It took a few days to even figure out what the hell's going on, and it took weeks to even see him be better. So I can't imagine, trying to play a game of war, knowing that someone you went to war with is not there right now, and you're worried about them, and you're like, oh shit, this could happen to me. This was a probably a very traumatic experience for everybody, Bengals included, trying to play, like that. So I think
oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I thought you were done, Sean. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think at the end of the day, I don't want to sound like an excuse for the team, but I think truly that was why, because even go back to the Bengals playoff game that year when we lost, even Matt Milano said, yeah, nobody had energy. Nobody felt, we didn't have it. Like, how the fuck? You're at home. You're hosting a playoff game. You should have been the 1 seed. You're hosting this team, and you said you have nobody's bringing it. Nobody's got energy. And when you think about it more, I truly think that was just because of DeMar Hamlin, not his fault.
Oh, absolutely.
Because of this.
But I will tell you one thing: of all the players that I have the most respect for out of that whole thing, is Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. Went to the
You know,
hospital.
he took an Uber. He took an Uber to the hospital and almost got arrested because they weren't going to let him in.
Yeah.
He-
Yeah, I remember.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
he's the true leader on that team. And that's the other thing. When Diggs gets in, it's like Ken Dorsey in week 3 against Miami when he broke the tablet. That's what you want. You want that on your team.
I agree.
You know, you want Travis Kelce getting in Reed's face because you know,
put a spark. That may have been the spark that they needed at that moment. You know, to
Right.
turn that around.
And here's the other thing. And we'll before we wrap this up, because you know we don't want to record too long because it's you know what I mean, because we can't do it for too long. If not, I have to break it up in episodes. But anyway, the big conspiracy theory was the fact that because they didn't see Damar Hamlin, they thought everybody was saying that it was a clone or a body double.
oh God, yeah,
Yeah, they tried to say
Remember
that
that?
his tattoos weren't there and shit.
yeah. That's because of the snowstorm because they couldn't see it. So of course it's the conspiracy theorists that come out and say, "Oh God." It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts.
Yeah. Diggs is they're like one of my favorite group of receivers. You know,
Yeah, I
Kinda.
love it.
Oh, and I got that thing for you, Crypto. While I was waiting, it's Matt Harmon. Oh shit,
Matt
hold on,
Harmon.
Matt Harmon. I'll send you the link. I'll send it to Crypto,
Okay.
or I'll send it to Shake, and then he can forward it to you until we
I
get
put
you
him
on
in
the group
text.
message.
I added him to the group text.
Well, it won't go through when I send it though, because I don't have his number. You gotta send a text message for him to be included.
Okay.
But yeah, that and that's and to top it off before you cut this short, I think Diggs wants to retire as a Buffalo Bill.
I think so.
Sure.
I kind of think so.
And I think that Brady needs to actually see. Here's the other thing, and Sean may agree. Once Dorsey was gone, they didn't utilize Kincaid as much as Dorsey was, and they pretty much took Diggs right out of the playbook.
Yep.
You know, so I don't understand that one, and nobody's actually touched on it. Nobody said anything.
Yeah.
Is
So
it because
that
they
was the
wanted to
big
see
one.
what Gabe Davis was going to be more? Was it Gabe Davis because of his contract or whatever? Or would they have anything to do with that?
Me personally, I'd like to see him keep Gabe Davis because Gabe Davis is, and especially if you have the 2 tight ends. Now instead of running the 12 personnel, you could actually run 13 with Davis in a little bit closer in the slot. But he's still a threat to go. He's not the fastest guy, but how many receivers do you know gets a game ball that didn't get 1 target?
That was a participation trophy at its finest.
He was a blocking fool. I think that was the Dallas game. I think that was the Dallas game that they couldn't stop Cook, and I think that was because Davis was just out there blocking.
I couldn't remember which. He is a good blocker, I will say. But here's my thing about Davis. I loved Davis when we first drafted him. I was so excited, and I still like him a lot. He's got great play potential, but he's so wishy-washy. He's so hard to understand because I don't know if anyone could do it. You know, either you guys or people watching on Sunday. Find me one wide receiver 2 that had more than 2 games with 0 catches. This dude had 5, and he missed 2 games, maybe 3, and he had 5 games with no catches. That's absolutely absurd.
Yeah, that is insane.
Yeah, but now is that play calling? Is that Josh Allen? You know, is it play calling that they're not throwing him the ball?
I think it's a mixture of him not being able to separate, him dropping the ball, Josh Allen not throwing him the ball, and then some of the plays not being designed for him specifically. So it's a little bit of everything, but it's just
right. But you look at Diggs, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. You look at Diggs, you take him out of the playbook, all of a sudden he's 3 of 8 with 2 drops.
I know,
because you're not in the game.
Yeah, and I will say, like, I'm 100% in agreement with you. Diggs, as soon as Brady took over, it was like he wasn't even Stephon Diggs in that sense.
Yeah, he's a different person. He's a ghost.
To advocate for that, which I don't really care because I think he should still be a pivotal part of the team. Dorsey ran the ball 42% of the time and passed the ball 58% of the time. Brady flipped that. So Brady ran the ball 58% of the time basically and then only passed 42%. So mixed in with Diggs not being a focal point, we weren't passing as much. So naturally his targets went down as well. But to your point, it seemed like we only gave him the ball on like fucking short screens and shit. And I'm just like, what are we doing? This guy's a
you know how they combated that? They started handing the ball off in the backfield.
Yeah.
You know that wasn't working.
And people were saying stuff like, oh, maybe his age is catching up to him. Like, his age don't matter because 5 weeks ago, he was top 3 in receiving yards, touchdowns, and catches. And all of a sudden, 5 weeks later, he's 55 years old now. That doesn't mean shit. Like, he's still one of the best. He's still, I mean, people aren't going to, after this year, people aren't, not just Bills fan, but people in the outside world are not going to view him as a top 5 receiver, but which is unfair because he still is. He's a complete game changer. And, stat wise, he wasn't top 5 this year, so people won't view him as that, but he's that dude. So I pray that Joe Brady is right as we speak, writing up plays and trying to get Stephon Diggs that triple motherfucking crown next year. Because he's
right. You think they're gonna write up more
2,000 yards? He's gonna give him 2,000 yards.
Yep,
2,000 yards, huh? Oh shit! So we got multiple people going after 2,000. Justin Jefferson to be back. He's going for 2,000 next year.
Gosh, man, he's.
And by the way, speaking of which, it's funny. TD was talking today on the Bet US TV that, and I just remembered that the first round pick you guys gave to Minnesota, they got Justin Jefferson with that pick.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in
essence, would you rather have Justin Jefferson now, or it's like, I know it's hindsight is 2020, but damn, to think you guys could have had Justin Jefferson instead of Diggs, but hindsight is 2020, obviously.
Yeah, I would say Jefferson just because he's younger. But at the time of the trade, and it's funny because the Eagles picked Jalen Reagor at 21 over Justin Jefferson. So in reality, if they did pick Justin Jefferson, that would absolutely suck because the Eagles would have had Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, and Devonta Smith. But the Vikings wouldn't have had Jefferson, so that would have been a completely lopsided, probably more than likely trade. But man, this Jefferson's he's like Stephon Diggs,
favorite receiver, man.
But like 22.
Right. Well, hold on now. It was only his second year in the league, and he missed a lot of time with injury. So is he going to be injury prone?
He did miss some time, but
was that a hamstring?
He missed 7 games and still had 1,000 yards. That's insane. That's
crazy. Yeah. Was that a hamstring? Was that a hamstring though?
Yeah, he had a hamstring this year. Yeah.
Okay. Now the other question is, if they lose Kirk Cousins, does Jefferson have the year he has without Kirk Cousins?
I don't know.
All you need to do is give it to him in space.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But if you have somebody that can't, but if you have somebody like, we'll say, Justin,
it'll go down if he had Zach Wilson and throwing to him, but he'll still get it. He'll be able to make some separation.
So
right. Well, that's the whole thing. I was gonna say the other cat. Justin Fields. But I guess he might be going to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Going to Miami.
So before we close this down, we're gonna do some news. If you want to join us, we'll do a few news segments if y'all want to chime in.
If we can.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. All right. So let's start off with the first news, which isn't good news. This is my favorite. This is a real site, Sports Mommy. According to Sports Mommy, 1 person was killed and 10 have been injured today shooting with the Kansas City Chief per Kansas City police. That was crazy today, man. Today everybody was celebrating a Super Bowl victory. Love was in the air, and and then something like this happens.
You have this, right? Mm.
Don't really
Yeah.
have words for
20.
it.
That's sickening.
People want to throw their life away over, whatever the conversation. Nothing is worth
Yeah.
doing that. Shooting someone over when, especially, you're all there for one reason, is to celebrate your team that didn't deserve to win the Super Bowl in the first place. And then you go in there and you start shooting guns off and taking people's life that you have no right to take. So
Yeah, the first Super Bowl back-to-back in 20 years, man.
yeah. So praying for.
And this happened. That happened at the parade.
Yeah, this happened at the parade. Yep.
At the parade.
That's just disgusting.
Yeah, it is.
Can't even have parades no more without worrying about freaking getting gunned down.
No, man, that's horrible. And
Movie theaters, churches, schools, malls, now parades.
Crypto, did you go to the parade when the Capitals and the Nationals won the title?
No, I didn't go to that.
Okay, because I was in sorry to interrupt, Shake, but I know I was stationed in Arlington. I know Crypto lives out there. When I was in the Army, they didn't allow us to go to the Washington Capitals parade. They were like, "Oh no, the whole freaking town shut down basically," and they all got to go. And then like, "No, we got to train. We got to do this." I'm like, "Man, we're doing absolutely nothing today. We're sitting in this off-post room doing battle drills on the floor and shit. Like, let us go to the parade, man." And then when the Nationals won, I just had gotten out of the Army and I moved back to my hometown in October, and they won in October. And I was like, "Man, I could have been there for that damn parade, but I moved back." And it's just
right.
So, at least two of my teams won championships, I will say.
Hey, damn, you were in the Army? Oh, thank you for your service, by the way.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
2014.
That was one of the branches I was in.
Yeah. Were you in the Army first? I can't remember.
The Army was first, before the Navy, yes.
Nice.
Oh, so you were a grunt? You were a grunt?
I was a grunt and a squid. Yes.
The squid, that's the other one. Yeah, Air Force would be a wing nut.
Yeah. I was a squid and a grunt.
So wait a minute, John,
I wasn't a jarhead neither. I couldn't get to the jarhead part.
Now, Sean, why didn't you put in for Fort Drum to be your home base?
Well, I did when I re-enlisted, and then something happened, and then I stayed in Virginia and finished my 3 years out over there, or my 6 years over there. So, yeah.
You was in Belvoir, Fort Belvoir? Well, which one were you
No, I was in Fort Myers.
Fort Myers, okay.
Yeah, that's right. It's like 20 minutes from Belvoir. I had friends that lived on Belvoir. I liked it over there.
That's what's up. All right, so the next news story is the New England Patriots quarterback room, that's according to Sportskeeda, was so toxic that Bailey Zappi had to watch tape in the wide receivers room. Damn.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
In the wide receivers room.
This is via
Sports.
Via Sports Illustrated reporter Albert Breer.
Damn.
And then the other big news story that broke out today was Wilkins was fired as the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers.
I saw that. That's freaking wild.
Oh, they canned him.
Really?
Holmes is getting people canned? What? That man, that's insane. Wow.
Yeah, that one surprised me.
That is a surprise.
Well, they had a top 5 defense, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Jesus.
I guess they was dropping off toward the end and in the playoffs. It was like, I don't know where they go from here.
Well, if you watch, and I don't know, I seen it. I didn't watch McAfee. I didn't watch McAfee yesterday or today. But at some point, J.J. Watt was on talking about the lack of holding calls, and they were showing how Bosa was just getting mauled by Kansas City's linemen. And so they, they always. Why are they not calling these? It's ridiculous.
But they always do that. They can do the same thing for San Fran.
Well, and I'm sure they did. You know what though? And I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. But set the tone early. The refs should be calling the game regardless. They
was throwing flags in that game early. That crew.
See, I
They said
equated.
it was throwing it more so than other in Super Bowl crews.
See, I equate it to I equate it to hockey. You know, if a ref makes a bad call, give somebody a penalty that it was a 50-50 or it was an outright bad call, they're going to give you an even up call on a 50-50 or even a 60-40. They're going to call it just to make it even. And you never ever hear any NHL fans or hockey fans in general talk about how bad the officiating is. And
Right.
and I'm having a problem with that. It's like basketball. I mean, I see guys double dribbling and traveling and doing everything he can do, and they don't call nothing. They just and it kind of
everybody is scoring 70 points every other day.
right. Yeah, I quit watching
Nobody
basketball 10,
good.
15 years ago when it started. When Jordan retired,
ridiculous.
I was done.
Yeah, I stopped watching after Dennis Rodman. I'm a big Rodman fan, but also
when he retired,
and not only did they San Francisco lose their defensive coordinator, but the Commanders just hired the assistant head coach, running backs coach Anthony Lynn to be their running game coordinator. The 55 will join Dan Quinn in Dan Quinn's staff after 2 years in San Francisco. So they're losing Anthony Lynn as well, and they also lost their assistant offensive line coach James Craig. He will be joining the the Las Vegas Raiders. So that's
really hire a 26-year-old ex-quarterback or something. I saw that. Maybe it was a bad press release. The Raiders are hiring a 26-year-old ex-quarterback. Third round, third pick.
And this is all from Pro Football Chase, by the way. It's on Facebook. And speaking of which, the defensive coordinator Spagnuolo just got a contract extension as well.
Oh yeah, he deserved.
Was he ever a head coach?
Yeah, he was the Rams.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. The Rams.
Yep.
He's got 4 rings or 5 rings as a coordinator.
Right. That's what I say. He has the most. He set the record for the most championships as a coordinator.
Crazy.
Well, did you see Kelsey said he would have retired if Reed said he was done?
I just can't wait for that.
If Reed said he was done?
If Reed was done, Kelsey was probably going to retire, yeah.
Well, his brother retired and came back.
Who?
Jason Kelsey did. And he turned back around and changed his mind. Yeah. They said he changed his mind now.
Pull the Brady.
Oh, well, he never made an official retirement announcement, did he?
Yeah, he said he was leaving the game. He gave a press release. Not to the press, but like, just a statement, a press statement.
Oh, I thought he was leaning towards it because he was maybe. Was it Schefter? I think it was either Schefter or it might have been the other guy, Rappaport. One of them let it out,
right?
And he kind of went with it. I didn't know that he officially retired and then officially unretired.
Yeah, he basically pulling a Brady. He's going back and forth.
Because I thought
maybe he was going to retire, play hockey for 2 years, come back and win another 3 championships.
Well, I thought he was entertaining.
Come back.
See, I thought he was entertaining ideas to become a commentator.
I joined.
Oh, what, Michael Jordan? Like Michael Jordan did?
Yeah.
Although Michael Jordan
did come back.
Michael Jordan could have played Major League Baseball out of college.
Yeah. And here's another one.
He just waited too long.
Here's another one from the San Francisco. Just like not only did they lose their run game coordinator, they're also losing their passing game coordinator, who's getting hired by the Saints to be their offensive coordinator. Clint Kubiak is now the Saints' new offensive coordinator.
Is that Gary Kubiak's son?
Probably.
You might want to check that. I think that's his kid.
I mean, I don't think there's too many Kubiaks out there, but in the coaching,
right? I think.
And then of course, UCLA. Washington Commanders hired UCLA linebackers coach Ken Norton Jr. as their linebackers coach.
Okay, from the Cowboys, old Cowboy guy, player, ex-Cowboy. Wow.
Oh, I just read the chat message. Yeah, I'm not going on X for a while. I just read the chat message.
Yeah.
Another R. Kelly, huh?
Yeah, man.
R. Kelly.
But that was the news. Hey, I appreciate Red, White, and Bills.
Say it
Michael
again,
K,
Shake
for-
Money.
for
Sports
giving
Mommy.
you
Say
guys-
it. Say
for
it.
giving
Say
us
it, Shake.
some of your time. Trust me, we're going to be getting more into. Like I said, next week is me and Crypto. We're going solo. We're gonna do a deep dive into the AFL and then the NFL, the original teams of the AFL. I believe Buffalo was one of them, right?
Yes.
Yes, they were original AFL team.
The
Yeah.
Boston Patriots was another one.
Oh, geez.
The Oilers, the Houston
Uh,
Texans,
uh, uh,
Oilers.
Shake,
Yeah, it
do
was
me
Houston
a favor,
Oilers,
do
I
me a
think.
Favor, Shake.
Huh?
I want you and Crypto to do me this favor. One of these shows on Insomnia.
What's that?
I
What was
want
that?
you two to make a team of just players in the AFC East, offense, defense, the best players you could pick at any position.
Okay.
I was gonna do that for. I was thinking about doing
Okay,
that.
that's cool.
I'll get into the I'll tell you the gist of what I was thinking about. But yeah,
Okay.
we'll do that. We'll do that.
And you can do
And by the way, when we do draft, when we do draft, I want you to. I would love for you to do the offensive line, your top offensive line prospects.
oh, I
I know you
love
the
that. Yeah.
offensive line.
The AFC East Dream Team, basically. Okay,
give
that's
me-
interesting.
Give me a call anytime
Okay.
when you're ready for that, Shake. And yeah, Crypto, you could be like people think, because I tried doing it before, and you know, people were like, well, you can't pick Diggs and Tyreek Hill because they're both wide receiver one. The way I want it to be done is like the best players. So you say you want 4 starting receivers, you could pick Diggs, Hill, Garrett Wilson, whatever, Jalen Waddle.
Right.
You don't have to be
Gotcha.
just because their position. You can just pick the 4 best receivers. You can pick
Right.
the 3 best running backs, the best 2
Yeah,
quarterbacks.
the-
You know,
Right.
so
All right.
that would be.
So
it
here
would
we
be
go.
fun. I think
Gotcha.
you guys would do awesome doing that.
So before we go, I'm going to list off
Cool.
the 8 original AFL teams: the Boston Patriots, the Buffalo Bills, the Dallas Texans, the Denver Broncos, the Houston Oilers, the Los Angeles Chargers, New York Titans, and the Oakland Raiders. Those are the original AFL teams.
They should go back to that.
So, any final thoughts before we close this out,
Oakland
guys?
Raiders.
Well, I just want to thank you guys again to have me on here. I watch all your shows. I'm just glad to be a part of it.
I'm glad you're a part of
Yes.
this too, man.
We appreciate it, man.
You're a good
Oh,
dude, bro.
It's been a pleasure,
man.
man.
We could.
Definitely been a pleasure.
Don't forget
to
me
have
when
you
you
guys.
don't forget us when you get big, bro.
Well, I don't know if that's
Right.
gonna happen, but I definitely couldn't
Yeah,
forget.
no, I
Don't
know
leave
it's
us
gonna
out on the
happen, bro.
curb, man. Drinking.
No,
I know
never.
it's gonna happen, bro. You got-
If I get big, we're gonna be there together. So
Hey, listen. The thing I admire about you is Michael K. When I said a lot of random things I didn't know, you knew right off, like the Josh Allen stat, this stat, you knew like this. You know what I mean? I guarantee you, there's a lot of content creators. Just because they're popular doesn't mean they're better, bro. I just
Well, I
want you to think
appreciate
about this. A Bush Light is the best-selling beer. Doesn't mean it's great.
that's true.
Right.
Yeah, I can't
That's
believe
because
that.
you got Miller. That's because you got Miller genuine draft.
Am I okay? Any final thoughts?
No, I just want to thank you for the second time being on Insomnia.
Yeah,
It's a
for sure.
pleasure because I know there's some in the dolphin community that are whining that you haven't invited them once. So that's really nice. I'm not going to say any names.
Yeah. Which we haven't.
Okay.
He's
We'll
been
get it.
on, so I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But anyway,
Oh,
Yeah,
I just
man.
wanted to get that in. I'm sure he's listening from the tumbleweed.
we got nothing but love for each other, man. But yeah, man.
Nothing but
Listen,
love.
man. Look, at the end of the day, look, this isn't gang banging. We don't just because. Remember, we play football. You know what I'm saying? This is football. This is a community, man, and this is something that we should come together to get together. We play each other. We're rivals. So at the end of the day, man, it is what it is.
I just like the fact that you guys appreciate a good troll now and then.
Oh yeah, we do. We got Scummy.
Scummy's great.
I'm a troll. We go
See,
back.
well, that's nice though, because I get kicked off all the. I don't think I'm allowed on any bills other than although I don't get his notifications for whatever reason, Sean's.
No.
But all these other ones, I'm blocked. The minute I say something negative about Josh Allen, I'm done.
Toast.
Come on, hey, how many times me and you we've gone back and forth at it in chats, and it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's great, and I do appreciate you and the Finns Tailgate as a whole for allowing people to enjoy themselves.
Yeah,
you know, and not so using the so-called gatekeeper.
Yeah,
because they don't want to be showed up.
Listen, as long as you don't say anything discriminatory or inflammatory, you know the things that you're not supposed to say. Everything's a fair game.
Well, let's get that straight. I never said anything discriminatory.
No, I know,
but I do say a lot of inflammatory things.
But you know what I mean,
right?
Oh yeah, I can get them going.
Yeah, for sure. So, with that being said, man,
no, Shake, you got to say "Sports Mommy" one more time. Sports Mommy. You got to say
my favorite.
Mommy.
That's my favorite website, Sports Mommy on Facebook. Look them up. So with that being said, hey Sean, stick around. We're gonna talk backstage. So, all right, y'all. Fins up, man.
Fins up.
Go Bills. Go Bills.
Hell yeah. I'm sorry. Before I go, I just gotta. There we go.